Okay, we're holding Siman Chav Ches, seif Lam and Zayin. Very, very famous seif. Says the Mechaber, Kol oichel in a mashkin shei meichel briim. Any food or drink that's meichel briim, that healthy people eat it, muter la'achlan v'shtoisam l'refuah. A person's allowed to eat them and drink them even though his intentions are for refuah. Afa pishahem koshim l'ktsas briim. It's supposed to be l'ktsas dvarim. The Magen changes it. Even though it's kosher for other things, we'll see in a second what that means. And a person could tell that he's doing it for refuah, full of haki shari. Even so, it's mutter. Why? Because it's something that's called a meichel briim. Says the Magen Avram l'ktsas dvarim. Kain tzarech la'imach and afa pisha kosher l'shinayim. Even though it's not good for the teeth, and you could tell that you're doing it for the stomach, still, shari, it's mutter. So anything that's a meichel briim, anything that healthy people usually eat, is mutter, even though it's mutter for milsa that you're doing it for. Doesn't make a difference. One example they give is prune juice, something that is it's called a meichel briim. If you're doing it for issues with his stomach, it's mutter to do it as long as it goes into the category of meichel briim.
So this is different than like what we talked about with the vitamins, which are...
The vitamins, we'll get to it. Didn't get to it.
The second part.
We spoke about vitamins?
No. Well, okay. We did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We'll get to vitamins. That was a whole different time. So that is a meichel briim. Anything that healthy people eat, orange juice people drink on a constant basis. Someone's drinking because he has a cold and eats it to make him feel better, even though it's mocha chemulsa that he's doing it for that reason, doesn't make a difference. Anything that healthy people eat on a constant basis is called meichel briim, and it's mutter to eat it and drink it, even though you're doing it. It's clear you're doing a little full.
It doesn't matter like the quantities.
Doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, because normally a person will drink one glass, but you're drinking...
Right, it doesn't make a difference. As long as the meichel briim, it's fine. Even though it's mocha chemulsa. There's an interesting Tilo Dover over here. He wants to say something that's 100% muchach, they're doing it with a full, it would be also. I'm not sure exactly what the case would be. But if something that's 100% muchach, everybody knows you're doing it with a full, there's no question about it, then maybe it's also.
But what makes it...
How's it possible? I'm not sure exactly what the case is. So Tilo Dover is machmir. But in today's world, it's not really so negaya, because anything that's a meichel briim, the healthy people eat, there's never been muchach chemulsa 100% that you're doing in the refuah.
Is this the same? Last time we spoke about mouthwash, right?
Yeah.
Mouthwash in the same category, or only briim?
No, mouthwash
is not. It has to be eaten.
No, mouthwash. The question with mouthwash was: is that a problem? The bad breath, is that a machal in itself?
Right.
If it is, then it's not meichel briim. Everyone's doing it because there's something bad in it. Even though it's something that's meichel briim, it's called meichel briim. Mouthwash is a question: is it called meichel briim?
Right.
So the question is meichel period.
So
no, it makes a difference.
The meichel briim has to be a meichel. That's what I'm asking. Like those, when you clear on mouthwash.
No, meichel briim.
No,
it's had to be for shmir.
In other words,
shmir.
Right, that's what I want to say. So when you do that, it means some briim do it.
Correct. Not after meichel or mashka. Even we have shemen. Shemen is something. If it's a briim, do it all the time. So but it's not even though you're doing it a little.
So everybody does mouthwash for whatever reason. Everybody.
Yeah, but the question is, you're right. But the question is, if everybody does something a little full, it doesn't become mutter. If everybody does something a little full, so it becomes mutter. No, it doesn't make a meichel briim. You're doing it because it's an issue.
Okay, we're going to get to it. But let's say everybody takes a walk. Everybody walks now.
Yeah. Okay. So
50 years ago, people didn't walk, but now everybody walks.
Right.
And there's a certain element that it is for health.
Okay. So but that could be meichel briim also. People do it.
Right. That's what I'm asking. So all I'm asking is the meichel briim not just restricted to meichel.
It's not restricted to meichel.
You could use it to meisa briim.
Also correct. It's not restricted to meichel briim.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
That's correct.
So that but will come up.
Yeah, but mouthwash is a different child. Mouthwash is a child of, if that's called bream, if that's called a machla, that the breath smells, you have to take care of that. So anybody who's doing it is doing it for the same reason, but most bream have this issue. Most bream have a machla of bad breath, and therefore they have to take mouthwash. It doesn't make it into a machla bream. It makes it into, most bream have this machla. So the question is, do you call it a machla or not? That was the question we spoke on last week. Mouthwash is mutter. Mouthwash is mutter. Most of the person got the mouthwash. See soon, it's not so simple. That's called a machla. Bad breath is not called a machla. They have a refuah for it.
So when you Pepto, people take Pepto, for example, for...
No, Pepto-Bismol is not machla bream.
Well, no, well, people don't take Pepto just for the fun of it.
Yeah, it's not machla bream.
No, but it has calcium.
Calcium.
People are not taking it.
Yeah, it's still not called a machla bream. It's not called a machla bream. We'll see soon. Like Tom, it's not called a machla bream. These things are not called a machla bream. We'll see soon that if someone's taking something for a calcium deficiency, right away it's not a machla bream. That itself is not a machla bream. You're doing it because you have an issue.
Right, it's like that with somebody taking aspirin every day because taking aspirin every day.
Right. Well, aspirin is good for something. What's it for?
Making your blood more...
Blood thinner? Right, so it's good for something. So, but if you take it every day, it's not a machla bream.
No, but you're taking it because people have a history of cardiovascular.
Right, but it's not machla bream.
Right, so it's not machla bream.
That's not machla bream.
Even though they're telling you to take it every day.
Right, it makes a difference. Still not machla bream.
But can mechlabrim be, do you define mechlabrim by the universe of people or by maybe by yourself? Like, I take it when I'm healthy, I'm still doing it when I'm not healthy. Like, in other words...
No. It's defined by the universe. It's defined by everybody. It's defined by everybody does, yeah, not by you. So that's Machal Briyam. Now says the Mechaber, it's not meant for healthy people to eat or to drink. Also, you're now to eat it and drink it l'refuah. Someone's doing it l'refuah, it's also to drink it and to eat it. Only somebody who has a mechesh is not feeling well. Which is the case that also to do refuah. If he has no mechesh, a person is a healthy person, and for some reason he decides today he wants to take an aspirin, he enjoys the taste, then, even though it's not a machal briyim, he's allowed to take it. If he's a bari, he's not taking it for any machla. He decides today he wants to drink a cup of Pepto-Bismol, whatever it is, it's mutter. Why? Because he's a bari. And he's not doing it l'refuah. That's what Mechaber says.
So we see that something that might be for you a machal bari, but for somebody else that's
it's not for you a machal bari. That's something you eat every day. It's not considered machal briyim. You're eating it when you're a bari. It's not considered machal briyim. Most people briyim don't take Pepto-Bismol on a regular day. It's not called machal briyim. Machal briyim is something that healthy people eat and drink. Now, if you're a healthy person and you want to take something that's meant l'refuah, you're allowed to do that. Because you're not taking it as a refuah. You're not taking it as a refuah. You're taking it aside because you want to eat it or drink it. But if somebody has a mechish, ba'alma, which is also to take refuah, now already you can't take it.
So my point is something that might be mutter for me would be also for somebody else,
Correct.
depending on the circumstances under which you're taking it.
Correct. So it's mutter for you if you're a bari. It's also for somebody who has a mechish ba'alma. And I'll see even more. Look at the Mishmur over here. Seif Cotton Kufya Test. Avalin. He says, "If a time that a person has any type of mechush, so here's a chiddush. There's a long bear off here. If anybody has time to look through it, you can see all this rise back and forth. We have a case over here that a person has a mechush ba'alma. He's not feeling 100%. But right now, when he's taking the aspirin, let's say, it's a bad example, but something that you could drink, when he's taking it, he's not taking it for refuah. He happens to be taking it because he's thirsty. Here's a Mechesh Ba'alma, and he wants to take Pepto-Bismol. Why? Because he's thirsty. It's a good drink. But since it's not Michael Briam, it's also for him to take it, even though he's doing it because he's thirsty. Doesn't make a difference.
Because he has a Mechesh.
Because he has a Mechesh, now it's also for him to drink it, even though he's not drinking it for a refuah. Right.
Wow.
That's what
so if you're going to do this weird thing, you have to be perfectly
correct. It can't be. I don't know if you have to. No, Mechesh means someone's bothering him. Doesn't mean that if he has some type of sickness, whatever, that he can't. That's not bothering him now. It's not a problem. Someone has a chronic disease, let's say, right? It doesn't always become now a person who's not a body. He's considered a body, but he what he's doing.
So let's say somebody who feels like having a Pepto-Bismol,
right?
He likes pink drink.
But he has a big headache.
He has a sore elbow from his playing tennis or something like that.
Right.
But
if it's a Mechesh Ba'alma, for a problem. Yeah. It's Mechesh Ba'alma. If he has a Mechesh Ba'alma, and he wants to take something, even though he's doing the what's called in some way, it's awesome.
But if he has something that is not the sickness for that, let's say
so it could be,
pain in a
it could be, it's possible, we shouldn't speak it out. It could be your case of the elbow and the Pepto-Bismol, maybe since it's not connected to each other, so it's okay. Maybe, thinking that, maybe it's not connected to each other, so it's okay. Maybe it has to be connected to the Mechesh that you have, but you're not taking it to take care of the Mechesh. Maybe. But that's the Mishnah Berurah's Chiddush over here. That even though you're doing it for the rabbi with the Tzmoin, you're doing it because you're hungry, you're thirsty, still it's also to take it on Shabbos. Ba'atam, the kivin to Chayla, the zehu rifu asoi.
So you may learn from that.
Right, maybe from that words, you give me that, it has to have a connection. So let's be medayik these words in the Mishnah Berurah. Zehu rifu asoi. It has to be that it's connected to the machal the person has. Fine.
So we're talking about Metamucil, for example.
Metamucil, if a person I don't know if it's called Machabriya, I'm not sure.
Oh, that's my question. I mean,
so let's say it's not called Machabriya. Let's say Metamucil is not called Machabriya. Now a person who's a bari and he's taking a stamazai as a drink and likes the flavor, it's fine. A person who has stomach issues and he's taking Metamucil, even though he's doing it only because he's thirsty, it's awesome. What's it doing?
Connected.
But it has to first be that it's not Machabriya. It's not Machabriya. Then, if a person has a Mechesh Ba'alma, it's also to take it even though he's doing it with Smai Ule Ravoinai. So that's the halacha. That's a person who has a Mechesh Ba'alma. Now, how about a person Ein Loi Mechesh? Person is body, it's fine, everything's okay. What's the halacha? The Mechaber says over here, the dafki which yesh the Mechesh Ba'alma from Eschazim for the Kabari Avam Ein Loi Shum Mechesh Mutter. If he has no Mechesh at all, he's fine, he's a healthy person, it's mutter for him to take anything, he has no restrictions. That's what the Mechaber says.
So basically it's like a preventive measure. Let's say, for example, it's really cold out and you don't know what's going to be.
Alright.
Like, there's no Mechesh, you're fine.
Right.
You want to take orange juice just, to...
Orange juice is sure. Orange juice is Machabriya.
Yeah. Take something, let's say...
Something else. So it's a refuah.
For a refuah, but you say, I don't know. What could happen?
You can take it. A body can take it. So let's see the Magen Avraham. It's a famous Magen Avraham. And here's where all the Shabbos starts from. Says the Magen Avraham, Sif Kat Mem Gimel. Mechesh Mutter. The Tur Kosov. The Shoysa Oisai the Rabbi the Tzmoi Mutter. Says the Magen Avraham, when we learn the Mechaber is mashma, if someone is healthy 100%, he can take whatever he wants, even though his intentions are for prevention. It doesn't make a difference, he can take whatever he wants. Says the Magen Avraham, the Torah says only if he's taking it, the Rabbi will smoke, if he's hungry or he's thirsty. Mashma, says the Magen Avraham, Tim Oisel the Refuah, Aser. If he's doing the Refuah, it's Aser, Af Api Shehu Bari, even though he's a Bari. Now let's stop here in the Magen Avraham and say I'll bring his rayas soon. What does the Magen Avraham mean? He's doing it the Refuah, even though he's a Bari. It's a steer. Doesn't make sense. You're healthy, and you're doing it the Refuah,
Preventative measure.
So what does that mean? So what does that mean?
Prevention.
So some Achronim want to learn that the Magen Avraham means is that you're doing it for prevention. You're doing it for prevention, that a person shouldn't get sick. This thing helps. It's a refuah. You're doing it for prevention. That's what some Achronim want to learn. If that's the case, fine. So it has to be something that you're doing for a refuah, that something shouldn't happen later on. How about vitamins, according to this? Vitamins are not a prevention.
Well, it is.
Vitamins are a supplement.
No, you can argue, but no, you think it's a prevention that something bad shouldn't happen to you.
No, not a specific thing. It's just a person should be healthy, period.
It's doctors to take vitamin D because otherwise something can happen.
Vitamins are a prevention like food is a prevention.
Right. Vitamin is just if someone has a vitamin deficiency or something, or you want to add more vitamins, it's not a refuah, it's not a prevention for a certain thing.
Right.
So here's the question: what happens with vitamins? From the Magen Avraham itself, here it's mashma. You can learn the Magen Avraham. But if you're doing it with refuah, also means it's something which in itself is a medication. Someone's going to take antibiotics, let's say, right? In order that he shouldn't get an infection. So that's doing it with refuah. Because that is what's it here for? It's here that if someone gets an infection, it shouldn't take effect. That's a refuah. Vitamins, anything that a person does, we'll see in the Mishabur, it's called a chazek mizgod. I'm not doing it for prevention, that I shouldn't get a certain machla, I shouldn't get a certain sickness. I'm doing it to make me stronger. I'm buried, but I want to become stronger. So you take vitamins to make you stronger.
How about somebody who's on the cycle of something as a prevention? Should he the Shabbos drop off the cycle?
Depends what. No, depends what. If someone's on a medication.
Your medication, let's say, blood pressure.
Yeah, that's something else. That's a chalish shpesakana.
Right.
That's a chalish shpesakana. If someone's heart is off, then it's called takana, and then he can do anything he wants.
He's a body, but this is what.
If he's prone, if the person is prone to high blood pressure or to whatever thing that they need, medication, and they're doing it to prevent that, that's mutter. Because the high blood pressure is a sakana. In itself is a sakana. So that you could do.
Would you say that somebody that has a condition that maybe give you antibiotics for every day, just for veterinarians, that they're not a bari? Would you say that?
They're not a bari, but it's mutter.
No spleen.
Yeah.
So they have to take antibiotics every single day.
Why?
Otherwise they could die from a very serious infection.
Okay, so then
they're not a bari. So then it's okay to take antibiotics every day.
It's not a bari. It's called shpesakana.
Yeah. Okay.
No, not a bari. It's also. He has to go to the category of sakana.
Right.
Such a person goes into the category of sakana.
So we're talking about Reichish Ba'alma, basically.
We're talking about Reichish Ba'alma, of course. Here we're talking about this seif, Lamed Zayin, the whole time we're talking about Reichish Ba'alma. Right? We'll see soon. Right? Which the Ramah says. Sorry. Forget it. We're talking about Reichish Ba'alma. We'll get to soon. We spoke about a few times. If someone passes the category of Reichish Ba'alma, he's a Nafal Mishkov, he's a Chaylish Ein Bei Sakana. We'll see soon what you're allowed to do. We're talking about nothing. Not a Chaylish Ein Bei Sakana, it's Nafal Mishkov.
The zera falls off.
Right. That's the next half of the Mishnah. We'll get to that soon.
So
before that, here we're doing Reichish Ba'alma. Someone has a Reichish Ba'alma, he's also to take medication.
Right.
So we're talking about a person now, there's no Reichish Ba'alma, he's a bari. So there's three levels. There's a bari, a Reichish Ba'alma, and a Nafal Mishka. Nafal Mishka will be the Ramah. We'll get to that soon. Reichish Ba'alma is also to take anything. A bari,
unless it's makabri.
Unless it's makabri, yeah. And a bari is mutter to take something. What's a mutter? So says the Magen Avraham, only if he's doing it for a drink or because he's hungry. That's why he's doing it. If he's doing it for any refuah, it's awesome. So now look at the Mishabur over here.
But why would somebody take not machal, something which wasn't machal b'riyim?
So that's the question. So if you mean, look at the Mishabur. The Mishabur says over here, Ein lai shum mechash. Sifkan kuf chaf. In the Mishabur. Tahainu she'oichel b'shoisel l'ravoinoi v'litzmoi. Magen Avraham Hashem Atur. He's eating it because he's hungry and because he's thirsty. If he's doing it for refuah, what does refuah mean? Tahainu kedei lechazek mizgoi. Chasam Magen Avraham nafilu b'bari gomer aser. Now what does the chazek mizgoi mean? Chazek mizgoi mean to make himself stronger. So he's a big machlokes in Achronim what it means. Doesn't mean a person who's a boring, no mechush, but he's getting a little cold. Not even a mechush ba'alma. It's fine. Everything's good. He's going to take, or he's going to take vitamins. This is not if he has a cold, it could be it's worse because you're taking it for the cold. A person who takes vitamins every day because he's a weaker person. He has a deficiency of vitamins.
Iron.
Iron's a perfect example. Someone has an iron deficiency. So he takes, what is it called? What is it called? There's a name for it. What's that? Whatever it is. So someone who takes for iron, takes supplements for iron. So there, come on, all the parts of the that's what the Magen Avraham means. It means someone who's a bari, but he has a deficiency. So he's taking it for that. But Chazak Mizgai, that's awesome. That's awesome. But a person who's a regular bari, but he's taking vitamins on a regular basis, because that's a good, right thing to do. If you ask a doctor, he's supposed to take vitamins, that's mutter, according to Moshe Vansky. It says vitamins are mutter because that's called Michael Bream. That is called Michael Bream. But a lot of Chagagim, Zalman argues. And he says vitamins are Michael Bream. What are you doing it for? For a supplement, because even Bream needs supplements to keep them healthy. So Shlomo Zalman says it's awesome. So it's a big question what L'chazek Mizgai means. Does L'chazek Mizgai mean somebody who's not the regular bari, he has some type of deficiency, but he has no mechush ba'alma now, he's 100% fine. But he takes it to supplement the deficiency. That's one shita, that's a Moshe shita. Shlomo Zalman holds that no, even a person who has no deficiency, is a regular bari, vitamins are also to take on Shabbos. That's a big machlokes how exactly to learn this Magen Avraham.
But it comes out that Moshe is learning that this case is not talking about a complete bari.
Correct. And Moshe is learning
that there's a new category which is between bari and a mechush ba'alma.
Correct. Yes, he is a bari. He is a bari with a deficiency.
No symptoms.
Yeah, no symptoms.
He is a bari.
The Chazak Mizgai.
But he's not, because if he would be a mechush ba'alma, would be a different. Right.
We're talking about
like it's the Metzias really. It's not a halacha. In other words, Shlomo Zalman says there's no such thing. In other words, either you are a bari or you go into mechush ba'alma. He doesn't see this Magen Avraham.
The Chazak Mizgai. Something called the Chazak Mizgai. Everyone agrees you're a regular bari. In Chazak Mizgai, you're a regular bari. The question is, why are you doing it for? There's a Chazak Mizgai. You're coming to make your Mizgai means your general health. You're coming to Chazak your general health. The question is what that means. Does that mean I'm 100% okay, I have no deficiencies? You're not a mechush. Mechush means there's something wrong with you right now. Something is bothering you right now. That's a mechush.
But that's right.
We're not talking about that.
It has to be bothering you. In other words, the example.
No, even according to a Moshe, nothing's bothering you. You're 100% fine.
No, but
there's no mechush ba'alma. You happen to have a deficiency.
I know, but if you don't take the iron, you could become a mechush ba'alma.
You could.
So
it
could be sakana.
I'm not sure I agree with that example, because if it was prescribed as an iron deficiency, it's a different story altogether. That's a whole different story. I think that we're talking about here, you're taking vitamin, off the counter, no one told you to take this vitamin. Multivitamin. That's the side of it.
But the question is,
the doctor prescribed iron.
Because a person is iron deficiency and he needs it, then
I don't see that as
let me say that the question of Moshe and Rosh Hashanah is in how they define
the Chazak Mizgai. Correct. How does the father Chazak Mizgai? Moshe says the Chazak Mizgai means there must be something wrong. You feel that you're a schwacher person. I think his example is some people that are schwach. Some people that are schwach people. Yeah, you want to be stronger. Nothing wrong. 100% fine. And you take vitamins to become stronger. That's called the Chazak Mizgai. That's how Moshe learns. A schwacher person. And Moshe says that's the Magen Avraham. That's awesome.
That's awesome. So once more,
a person who's not schwach, but a regular person, who's a strong person, no issues, but he's taking vitamins. He takes vitamins. So Moshe holds that's mutter. But Shlomo Zalman holds no. Vitamins are not a microbiome. Period. If anyone's taking it, it's not the regular food that you're taking. It's not the microbiome. and therefore it's also, it's called the Chazak Mitzvah. You want to become stronger.
Today it's already like maybe, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 years ago, it wasn't a big...
Yeah, some people want to tell you that today's vitamins is food.
Right.
It's regular food.
Yeah, it's included.
Down here, he says
eating in the food, it's included.
Yeah.
Let's say cereal has a...
Yeah, some people eat. I mean, I know my father-in-law doesn't eat food a whole week a month. He has green and he has purple and he has, I don't know what he has all this type of things, and vitamins. That's his breakfast after supper. Instead of eating, he takes all this stuff.
That was among food.
So that's what brings down they're a substitute for food. You're not getting enough from the food.
Also take those things? Even those things also take?
Because they look like
he says if you're taking it as a food substitute, then it's clearly, he says,
so but it's also taken?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's right.
And they used to have these shackly mixes, right? Those things?
Yeah.
So that's, what is that? It's not food. It's instead of food. You eat this stuff, and you have the kaiches you need, and you don't need food.
It's food in the bar.
It wasn't even food. It was like a powder.
But you add a substitute. Oh, no. You use that powder.
No, just the powder. You take the powder and you add water and you drink it. That's your breakfast on the supper. So that one is that's basically just vitamins. It's not to keep you going, and you don't have all the extras. He says it's also, I don't know, it's a chiddush. Some people are tired. Today, all vitamins are like that. People take vitamins because why are we taking vitamins? Because the food that we have, it doesn't have the vitamin that's supposed to have.
Right.
So we take these things that they're convinced that does have it. The probably also doesn't have it. But you take those stuff, the vitamins, that they're convinced that has the deficiency that the food doesn't have.
Almost all breakfast cereals you can buy now is supplemented with vitamins.
What's it called?
Cereal.
Yeah.
Whatever. Cheerios and enough of it.
Right, they do have vitamins.
Have extra vitamins in them.
So
is that an issue?
No, that's microbiome.
Vitamins that are added to something.
No, that's microbiome. That's regular microbiome. Yeah, that's 100% microbiome.
Yeah, there's another interesting discussion here about sleeping pills on Shabbos.
So sleeping pills is a different shiloh.
Yeah.
Sleeping goes into the shiloh of is that a machla?
Right.
Right? I've said before, anything like mouthwash. Like bad breath. It's not a sickness. So someone can't sleep and he wants to take pills to help him sleep. It's not machla, but is that a machla? Is that a refuah? I don't know if it's a refuah. It's not a refuah.
It helps.
Helps to go to sleep. But it's not a refuah.
Right.
It's not a refuah. It has to have a machla in order to be asr. If it's not considered a machla, it's not asr.
Maybe. That's around.
What?
No, it's interesting. No, it's a good question. Viagra, for example.
It's a real shiloh.
It's a shiloh.
If you're not taking a Shabbos.
What?
Yeah.
That I never saw. But the birth control they speak about.
They do. On the shiloh, 100%, yeah. That's on the shiloh.
Yeah, and what do they say?
I'm not going to quote offhand online, but I definitely heard this discussed in a serious way. But it goes into this discussion.
Yeah.
Is it Michael Green also? Was what defines a machla?
No, but we have a problem because if you miss one,
Sleep, he says, it's inappropriate with target.
And therefore it's also.
Right, but he goes back and forth.
Therefore it's
for that he would say the choice of Shulchan says it would be mutter. But
the choice already said that there's no shlichus samanim altogether. You can't rely on that.
No.
It doesn't bring that. It doesn't say that.
The shofar doesn't say that. Just a shofar, no.
The choice says that the gzera shlichus samanim today doesn't even apply.
Oh, because we don't do it, you mean?
Correct.
Yeah.
So the choice, you don't need anything.
We don't make it. If you're going
to use that as a
that's a big chiddush, yeah.
Right? Then you
don't do it in your house.
The whole shiloh doesn't take long.
Yeah. Okay, so basically we have over here is how to learn this Magen Avraham. The Magen Avraham means we're talking about somebody who is a shvacha person. He doesn't have the strength they should have, so he's that's the chazak mizgoy. But a person who's a real bari, it's no problem to take it. Or we're talking about even a real bari. Now, being a raya from the Magen Avram, like the Shlomo Zalman, that even a real bari is not allowed to take it. Why? Because the Magen Avram says this halacha, but then he starts speaking rayas. There's a chem mashma, if mandala the harechet b'yam barihu, someone who washes in the yam is a bari, until it's also the chem mashma b'yushalmi, kavmei mishra v'oid gam b'gemar api shesh lechatot b'roishoy, hayeshah v'chem mashma sefei chavbei the Shabbos aminan, also lamoid b'karka shel jimsim, shema'amal v'murape, chem mashma b'brachas tapam v'ches, the paruch, v'refura b'Shabbos mishari, the Gemara Brachas asks, is there a fool with Shabbos Mishari? V'loy Mishani to Mairi v'Adam Bari. We don't answer in the Gemara. The Gemara says, what are we talking about? How are you allowed to go into this water on Shabbos? It's also to do that on Shabbos. So the Gemara doesn't answer. We're talking about an Adam Bari. Adam Bari Aser. Even by an Adam Bari, it's Aser. Now, what's the Raya? The Raya is, because the Gemara says, a certain case, you're going into certain mud or certain water, how do you do it on Shabbos? Also to do it on Shabbos. So it says, the Magen Avram, why didn't the Gemara answer? We're talking about Adam Bari. Now the Maya Raya, even the Adam Bari is awesome.
So why would you be awesome to the 6 in the morning sharing the water? I mean, what's going to do with refuah?
No, it's a refuah. No, it wasn't a refuah. It was a refuah.
What's the 6 in the morning? It's not 6 in the morning.
It could be done also with Salmon. It could be this refuah. It could also be done with Salmon.
But that's a muchach milsa. I mean, it's not like everybody goes into it. If you're going into it, you know that you're going through.
No, but I'm a bari. Bari is mutter. This thing was a refuah. And that's in this, you could do it, it was meant to heal, I don't know, your feet or whatever it was.
But aren't the other issues with going to the water?
Yeah, there are other issues, yeah. I'm not getting involved in other issues, but going to the water, Shabbos, and Chitza. But the more there says, how are you allowed to go into this on Shabbos? The Chayra, it's a refuah. So the Gemara doesn't say, and the Gemara says, refuah b'Shabbos mishari, and the Gemara doesn't answer what we're talking about a bari. That's a very simple term. It's talking about bari is going into this water on Shabbos, it's mutter. Elamai, we see from over here, afilu ba'adam bari asa. Now according to the Moshe,
what's that? But what would be the problem here? It's going to be it's called.
No, look, you have nothing to do with chitza. I'm not getting involved in chitza. I'm not getting involved in anything else. Just refuah. Forget about chitza. You're going into mud. One case is going into mud, right? And that mud is a refuah. So you're walking in there on Shabbos. So the Gemara says, how can you walk in there on Shabbos? It's a refuah. The Gemara doesn't answer that for bari it's shari. So the Magen Avram, it's a raya that even Adam Bari is also to do something that's a refuah.
But then for Bari it's not shari, because even he would have a problem with Rechitz Kol Gufay.
No Rechitza, so not for Rechitza. That's not Rechitza over there anymore. It's talking about refuah. The Gemara speaks about Rechitza, we're answering Rechitza over there. The Magen Avram is saying in the stage that the Gemara says that has it going in there, it's a refuah, says the Magen Avram, the Gemara can answer very simple. It's talking about Adam Bari is going in there on Shabbos. And Adam Bari could do something to the four on Shabbos. Otherwise, says the Magen Avram it's a raya that even the Adam Bari cannot do something that's a refuah. That's what the Magen Avram says. But if you hold like a Moshe, that a person is 100% healthy, can do anything, so then still it's fair. Why do you want to say we're talking about Adam Bari? Adam Bari the Gamri. Moshe holds, what's the case? Of the Magen Avram, that you're not a strong person. You're a weak person, and you need this as a supplement. So why do you want to say we're talking about another bari, a full bari? According to Shlomo Zalman, that even a full bari is also to do anything on Shabbos, that's not machabrim, right? Even the vitamins is also, so then it's very good, the Magen Avram Zerayim. According to Moshe, it's hard to understand the Magen Avram Zerayim, because still, maybe it's talking about another bari, the Gamri, that it's mutter. Maybe.
So, for example, you took a pizza out of the equation and you were in Israel and you walked into the Yam HaMelech on Shabbos.
Right.
There is some therapeutic value.
Correct. So, right. So that would be the same thing. According if it's better to four, according to Moshe, it'll be fine.
Then you're a bari.
You're a bari. You're 100% bari. According to Shlomo Zalman, it depends. Doing the Chazak Mizgah. Even according to Shlomo Zalman, if you're not doing the Chazak Mizgah, a person who's not 100% strong and is doing it to get stronger, according to Shlomo Zalman, can be awesome. Could be also.
So do we understand that the status of a chazik mizgah is always usher, and the question just becomes...
Correct. What is a chazik mizgah?
And the machlekes of Zalman and Moshe is going to be what...
No, if you...
What's called the chazik mizgah? What does it mean, the chazik mizgah? According to Moshe, someone is 100% healthy, he's not a weak person, there's no such thing as the chazik mizgah. But according to Shlomo Zalman, there still is a chazik mizgah, even though it's 100% healthy. So that's basically the vitamin shaila. And what the halacha is?
Halacha is just the question who you go with.
Yeah, that's the question who you go with, yeah. Well, a lot of people take vitamins on Shabbos because of this. Even though they take every single day, on Shabbos they don't take it.
And one of the other criteria we had about not coming on to Shchikas HaMamonim is you're not bothered. You're not worried about coming on to Shchikas HaMamonim because if you're sick, then there's an union of bothered and you're going to... But if you're taking vitamins like every day, there's no union of coming on to Shchikas HaMamonim because you're not bothered. You're not sick. You're just taking it to not going to come on to the...
Yeah, but once we asked it, I was bothered, right? So we said that Bori didn't make the exam. The question is, did they make the zeh by the chazik mizgah or not? You're not going to take every situation and say, oh, he's bald, he's not bald. It's also to do that's bald. So first of all, the chazik mizgah, is that called a refu or not? First of all, what's called a refu? Shlomo Zalman asks because he holds, even a Bori who's taking vitamins, it's called a refu. It goes with get the refu. That's what he holds Shlomo Zalman. He doesn't say because even though it's not a refu, it's awesome. He holds someone who's strong and he wants to become stronger is called a refuah. It's called you're doing it to make yourself healthier and better. Okay, let's finish up the seif over here. So then the Ramah says, if someone is a nafal lemishkav, also it is mutter.
What is which part? The first part or the second part?
So if someone's not for the mishkav, it's mutter to take regular four. Regular four. So the question is, what does it mean? Someone's not for the mishkav, that's Sifid Zayin, right? That we saw over there. The not for the mishkav is allowed to do this to the Rabbana. Ayadei Shinui. So here the Mori Abraham says, the mishkav shari. Lechal v'lishtois hafilu Yisrael acham mutar lasas leidavar shu shmishvus k'may shekosek Sifid Zayin. Even if different Yisrael is allowed to do something for him, that's after shvus. Like we said in Sifid Zayin. Here the big kasha is, what do you mean? In Sifid Zayin it says only mutar ayadei shinui. And here lamata even shaloi ayadei shinui. So here's the famous Mishnah Berurah that we saw a few times already. So for that you see it now again. Sif Kor Kuf Kaf Aleph. The Nafal Lamishkav Shari Pirish Lechal Velishtois Dvorim She'ein Miderech Habriyim. It's mutter to take things that are not Michael Briyim. Lechal She'ein Miderech Habriyim Lechal Umestimas Deverim Mo Mashma She'ein Tzarech Hafila She'yiyu Any Hudi Moshitla. You don't even need a guy to give it to him. He can take it himself. There's only Issa D'Rabbanan. Mutter Likach Ba'atzmai Ba'afagav to Paskina Le'el Sifid Zayin Gedei Gimel to Shvush Yesh Bei Maisa Osla Gedei Yisrael Be'enei Mutter Kiyim Ayedei Shinui Tzarech Loime the Shat right only Ayedei Shinui it's Mutter. And here, what are you being matter enough of a mishkav? He's allowed to take medication, so it's not Michael Briyim without a Shinui. How can he do that? Tzarech Loime the Shani Hasan Shemayni B'Malachas D'Rabbanan. What is mechzer?
What does it
mean mechzer ke'en melacha? So it looks like a melacha. It doesn't give an example. Mr. Berurah. Here, it doesn't look like any melacha b'chlal. Talabari mutter. This is mutter for a bari to do. There's no issue here for a bari. This is the famous Mishnah Berurah. It's mekel that something that has no Isser D'Rabbanan, but not even magzik and malacha. And the only issur is an issur of shchikas ha'amanim, and it's a refuah of nafal and mishkav is mutter to do it on Shabbos. That's the heter.
I think we talked about this for case of applying ice.
What do you mean?
He has a...
He's nafal and mishkav. Not nafal. Bump is not a nafal and mishkav. Yeah, someone's a nafal and mishkav, they apply ice.
But if that would be the case.
Yeah.
Right? So we said that in this case here,
Correct.
because there's no sraf of malacha.
Correct. Applying ice, there's no sraf of malacha.
You don't need to condition of shino, you wouldn't be able to.
Correct.
Right? But the only problem is that by Neifel and Mishkav, though, there is no shchikas ha'amanim anymore.
Well, if you're take them on migraine.
A migraine is nafal and mishkav.
Yes, but you can still take painkiller.
Right, so when has a migraine headache, a nafal and mishkav. And why is no shchikas ha'amanim a nafal and mishkav? Yeah, we're saying that. That's what they take pills. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right.
So someone has a migraine headache, he's enough of a mishkav.
So Neifel and Mishkav.
You can take Advil.
At that category.
Right.
So the question now becomes: let's say you are below that category, right? And there's no malacha involved in the shchikas ha'amanim.
Still also.
So what determines this? In other words, is this heter of the Mishnah Berurah, or this understanding of the Mishnah Berurah on the fact that it only begins from Neifel and Mishkav, right?
From Mitzvah Harbe or Miktas Chayli, you're not going to have a setter.
You're not.
You're not going to have a setter.
But then...
So why do you need a setter?
Right. That's what I'm asking.
What do you want to say?
Can you take time away?
How can you take pills?
You're not for a Mishkav.
Yeah, it's a D'Rabbanan you can't do. Enough of the Mishkav cannot do this to the Rabbanan.
Correct. But the shchikas ha'amanim does not apply anymore.
That's what he's saying here. That doesn't apply. That's a chiddush of the Mishnah Berurah. That is his chiddush. You're saying that. That's what you were saying before. You don't say it doesn't apply. What do you mean it doesn't apply? Everything Rabbanan applies. Says the Mishnah Berurah chiddush if under advance that issur of shchikas ha'amanim, which is not a real issur of the Rabbanan, but not going to apply to someone who's not for the Mishkav. That's what he's saying right here.
So that which
only if there's no srach malacha.
Correct. There's no other malacha b'chlal or val. The only issue here is k'zeh shchikas ha'amanim. Then we're matter by nafal mishkav.
Right, but it's your migraine case, right? But the way
that's here. That's
it. You think that's the source of it?
That's it. This is the Mishnah saying it right here.
Okay. In other words, migraine, where you can take a medication.
Correct. A migraine, you can take a medication. Is
nafal mishkav, right?
Nafal mishkav, and you have to have their advice. That the Mishnah brings down that is the Rabbanan.
More to what we knew already before.
No. No, I prefaced that we're going to see it inside now, what we spoke out. Here's what he says the chiddush.
No, because what I was trying to say was like this: if we take, for example, that there is no gzeira, let's say we know it's from somewhere else.
Right.
There's no gzeira by Neifel and Mishkav.
Okay.
Now you have a question that you have gzeira shchikas ha'amanim, but it's the kind that doesn't have a sraf malacha. What does that mean? In other words, you're not taking a pill; you're taking an ice pack. On less than an Neifel and Mishkav. Right?
There's also things. Taking an ice pack and a pill is pashas the same thing.
Correct, except there's one difference.
And that difference doesn't make a difference.
Oh, but I thought that this was going to say that you might be able to make a difference.
No. Here it's saying that anything that's also because of refuah, which is zeh shchikas ha'amanim, is mutter by nafal and mishkav.
That's by Neifel and Mishkav. But you don't want to extend it to a case where you're going to make a diuk, right?
Yeah.
Where you have, in other words, it's shchikas ha'amanim,
right. But
there's no malacha involved. There's nothing whatsoever. We talked about cases of things like that.
Yeah.
So in a case where you're not Neifel and Mishkav, you're a Meichush Balma, you're a Sarah Harvard, things like that, you're saying this would not be a difference between the nature of the shchikas ha'amanim.
Perhaps that's not. That's from here. You don't see this from here. We'll see the next few seifim. It's very unclear. But we spoke about this once. If there's something that you never do through shchikas ha'amanim, if there's a heter to do it.
Right. But it's not coming.
You won't come on to.
Something that never has shchikas ha'amanim. If this refuah you can never do through shchikas ha'amanim, is it also or not? That's what spoke out there with the elbow at a place. We said that it could be from a side to heter. That's something that you can never do with shchik salamon, and it could be its mutter. But that's not this. It's not this. This is a heter that anything that we said that it's also the alter fuah, but matter by nafal mishkav. But matter by nafal. Someone has a migraine headache, he's allowed to take medication. Anybody has a nafal mishkav, you have the head of the Mishnah Berurah, he's allowed to take medication. He's not allowed to do every Issa D'Rabbanan. Other Issa D'Rabbanan you can't do. Only Ayidei Shinui. This Issa D'Rabbanan of medication is mutter. That's what the Mishnah Berurah is saying over here. Okay, Seif Lamed Ches.
Okay, I'm stuck. I thought we brought this down for shinui. This halach and kuf chasala.
You don't need a shinui. You can do it directly. You can do Issa D'Rabbanan directly. This Issa D'Rabbanan of the fool you can do directly without a shinui. You can take a pill without a shinui. That's what we're saying. Otherwise, you can't do it. Because enough of Mishkav, the head of Nafla Mishkav in Seif Yud Zayin was that you could do Malacha D'Rabbanan Ayidei Shinui. That's how we're asking.
Right.
You could do Malacha D'Rabbanan Ayidei Shinui. Here, we're matter to do Malacha D'Rabbanan without a Shinui. So Nafla Mishkav, you could take something to the fool, but a fool is Issa D'Rabbanan. How does that do without a Shinui? Says the Mishnah Berurah that this Issa D'Rabbanan of refuah will matter even without a shinui. So you can take a pill directly.
Because there's no strach malacha.
There's no strach malacha. No other malacha. There's no other malacha D'Rabbanan involved.
Looks like
right. Only shchika ceremony. That will matter.
That's the chiddush here.
That's the chiddush. You don't need a shinui.
Right.
You don't have to take the pill or you day shinui.
You mean if only malacha, if only Rabbanan is shchika ceremony?
Right. That's
okay.
Okay.
If there's another malacha involved, then you only go back to Sifid.
Correct. You have to do Ayidei Shinui. There's another malacha D'Rabbanan involved, even a tzrach malacha, you have to do Ayidei Shinui. You can't do it directly. Okay, Seif Lamed Ches. Mutter lechal srofim mesukim v'legmoya beyachaya k'dei lahanim hakoil. You're allowed to eat srofim mesukim. Srofim mesukim is sometimes congealed. Srofim is a sap from the trees. That's what sraf is. So you're allowed to take that even though it's not machabrim. Or the Gmoya.
Syrup, you said?
Yeah, it's called syrup. Srofim is a sap. The sap of the trees. So you're allowed to eat that on Shabbos with Gmoya Beyachaya to swallow raw eggs to the Hanim HaKol in order to make your voice nicer, even though it's not machabrim. It's still mutter. Why is it mutter? Because the Hanim HaKol is not a refuah.
Yeah, it's not.
Hanim HaKol is says the Mishnah Berurah Kantul Chabeis mutter lechal the lav the refuah who the ligzer b'zeh mishum shchika salamon. It's not a refuah b'klal. It's not called a refuah. Make your voice nice is not called a refuah. That's what's mutter.
That vitamin you have honey. Because the same thing you have honey in order to smooth it. So you take it because of the honey.
Mutter. Yeah. It's something you're taking, not for refuah, it's mutter. You're doing the Hanim HaKol, it's mutter. Seif Lamed Tes. Ein Eisin Apektoisin. Apektoisin means Apek Tfei Zoin. We would take out the extra throw up. It was the type of something they would take to help you throw up if you ate too much. The Hainu Gramas Kea, it's a goyim that makes you throw up. Afilu b'chayil, shem hefsid oichan. You're not allowed to do it because you master the food. Now, in those days, there was a minute by the what? Epican? There was a thing by Malachim, it's brought down.
It makes you throw up.
Makes you throw up. So there was a thing by Malachim, they used to go ahead, and they were by the big students, they had to eat everything, so they ate, they would go out, and throw up, and come back, and eat more. So, Apik Tfei Moser. Apik means to take out Tfei extra Zoin. Food. That's where it comes from. Apik, to take out, tvei more zoyin food.
That's round. We talked about that.
I'll tell you a joke after we shut the video. If a person is Mistayim Roy Michael, so you're not doing it even during the week. Why? Because hefsid. If you after the food, a person eats it and he throws it up, it's hefsid. But if a person ate by mistake, okay, what should he do? But someone to do it in order to eat, in order to have more room to eat more, that's also a fill of a. But if it's Mistayim Roy Michael, how about he's not doing it because he wants to eat more? He's doing it because a mistake, he overate. So there, b'choil mutter, a fill of a sam. During the week it's mutter, you can use even this medication, whatever it is, the sam, to help you throw up. With Shabbos, also the sam, or mutter b'yad. For Shabbos, you're not allowed to use sam for it, you're not allowed to use medication, or mutter b'yad, you can stick a finger in to help you throw up, it's mutter. Now, why is it also on Shabbos for sam? Why is it also on Shabbos for sam? It can't be a refuah. Why? If it's a refuah, then why b'yad is mutter? If it's a refuah, but anything that's a refuah, that you could do with Salomon for sure, Allah is not allowed to do it even without Salomon. Right? You're not allowed to do it even without Salomon. So why here is a mutter? So if you look in the Mishnah Berurah over here, he says, Ain't Oisin. So the Mishnah Berurah Kuf Chav Gimel. Kuf Chav Gimel. On top of the page. Ein oisin, hainu, kidei sheyerav v'yagza achakak l'chahaven. The first part is talking about even b'chayil it's aser. Why is it also even b'chayil? If you're doing it in order to have more room to eat more, that's aser. That's about hashkas. Ma'afsad oisin is aser. But on Shabbos, but if it's tsar, if a person has tsar and he's not doing it in order to be able to eat more, he's doing a part because by mistake he ate too much, and now he's b'tzar, it's mutter b'chayil. B'shabbat is ofser b'sam. Why is it ofser b'sam? It says in the Mishnah Berurah over here, the domi l'refuah v'gezeira mishum tzchikas ha'amanim. Tanufim. It's not a refuah.
The yad?
So yad is not a refuah. With sam we answered it.
But
he doesn't say
yad by itself.
Yeah, it's mutter. Yad by itself is mutter. No, it's also only because since it's dominantly refuah, so we ask it sam.
Is it a gezerah to a gezerah?
It's like a gezerah to a gezerah. Yeah.
We didn't ask the yad.
We didn't ask the yad. If it would be refuah itself, then yad would be aser. But since it's not a refuah in itself, it only looks like a refuah, therefore we only aser sam. We did not aser yad.
But he is relieving his...
That's not called a refuah. That's what we're saying over here. It's not called a refuah. So if we call the refuah, even biyad would be aser. Okay.
So we're matching bulimia on Shabbos.
What?
We're matching bulimia on Shabbos.
What's that?
Bulimia.
Oh, bulimia.
Force yourself to throw up.
Yeah, or matzah on Shabbos. Yeah. Or the person of the tzar.
Only if the person.
Yeah, the person of the tzar is allowed to do it.
So that's the question: is bulimia just in and of itself considered to be tsar?
Right.
Why is the person doing it for?
That's made the...
It's
an eating disorder.
psychological.
Bulimia is an eating disorder. People think that they get fat and they keep trying up to that.
What's anorexia, like that type of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy to do it. It's also... Bulmus is something else.
That's how they understand it.
Bulmus is bulimia?
That's how I understand it. It's always bulmus. So and then you give that person on Yom Kippur, right?
I thought bulmus had to do with the throat, with something with the throat. You're saying bulmus?
That's not so. What's the child here?
And he was making a joke.
Oh. It's not controllable. It's a sickness.
Right.
It's a disease, yeah.
Yeah, it's a disease.
Right.
Yeah. But that's also even during the week. I mean, the person's throwing up because it's being after that one. Okay. Someone who has a stomach problem, they used to do it was take a kais that had hot water in it, you emptied out the hot water, then I put it on your stomach, even though there's still heat coming from it, it's still mutter. Now here, the Magen Avraham doesn't explain what's going on over here. If you look at the Mishnah Berurah over here, Sif Khan Chuf Chafei, he says, what happened over here? It seems like his intestines were not in the right places. So, he puts it onto the stomach. The kais grabs the meat, the suctions the flesh. And then it puts it back into its place.
Because of the ruach.
Yeah, that's what they used to do. So now, if you look at the next Mishnah, even though it's still hot, and what's the chiddush? Afri shucham, kavanasai delay nema, kamay the asur lurchos bechamin, kamay ken kalchamin asur, the gufa the fika chashmina the mutter. The chiddush is that it's mutter. It's not called rechitza bechamin. You think rechitza bechamin is also this is like rechitza bechamin. Kamashma it's mutter. This is mutter. Now, is this a refuah? What's going on over here? In this case, is this case a refuah or not? Someone's intestines got messed up. He's putting that thing on top to straighten it out. You would say it's a refuah.
But it's a refuah.
So then why is it mutter on Shabbos? It's a refuah, why is it mutter on Shabbos? So if you look at the Shabbos scene over here, Sif Khan Tali Dalet, he says, another chiddush in the Sif is that a busahu don't say it's a refuah. It's not a refuah, and therefore it's mutter.
So why are you doing it?
It's not called a refuah. It's fixing something. Not everything is a refuah. We'll see later on. Not everything is a refuah. So from this sharet scene, it's mashma that Sif Mem has no shaykhs to refuah. The reason why you're allowed to do it on Shabbos is because it's not a refuah. For being a refuah, that's a mechesh ba'amol, let's say, it should be also to do it on Shabbos.
Isn't it chazik mizgah the same way that we learned beforehand?
Why is it chazik mizgah?
Because right now he's not comfortable,
That's not chazik mizgah, not comfortable. Why is it chazik mizgah?
Because I would think that he's basically bothering, and what you're doing is you're making him feel.
No. Chazik mizgah is becoming stronger. Here, see later on, someone's ear is out of place. Earlobe, so they used to do something to put it back into place. Right? They'll do something to put it back into place. So similar on, it's not a refuah b'chal. That's because the ear is not in place. So do something to put it back in place doesn't mean it's a refuah.
So basically, why couldn't you use that for that same headache? Why couldn't you use that headache for resetting bones or something like that on Shabbos?
When it's resetting bones or something else, that could be a refuah. That's a matter.
How do you?
Because if you don't do it, you can't use it.
No, but I know it from the ma'ayim, from the.
Yeah, so it seems like from this sharet here that the ma'ayim is not called a refuah. This thing that doing the seif mem, whatever the case was, I don't know exactly what it is, was not a refuah. It's not a refuah. You moved it back into place, and that's why it's mutter. That's what he says. It's not a refuah. That's why it's mutter on Shabbos. You'll see later on with seif mem gimel. It's not mashma that way. Mashma is a refuah, and it's seif mem aleph, mem beis, mem gimel. The next three seifim, I really wanted to get to today, but I don't think it's happening anymore. The next three seifim is, it's going to speak about something that you do for a refuah, but you can never do it with someone. Which we mentioned before. Something that you do, it is a refuah on Shabbos, but you cannot do it with Tza'amanim. There's no way of doing this refuah with Tza'amanim, and it could be it's mutter. We'll see the next three seifim. And it could be that the head of a seif mem is the same reason. Because this thing you can never do with Tza'amanim, you're going to do with this kais, and therefore it's mutter. That's a could do seif mem.
That would be you had to for a hot water bottle. You can't do it from the money. Correct.
We'll see. It depends what. Something's there, something's not. But we'll see the next three seifim. The next four seifim maybe. I definitely have to go through. I want to finish next week, but that's not happening. These seifim go through this shiloh, something that could be done, that cannot be done with Tza'amanim. It could be it's mutter to do it on Shabbos. So we'll get to it next week.
20 seconds.